John Harder's football as well. 10 days it's been since Kevin Warsh was appointed or was nominated as Fed chair. And a few of you guys have asked for my opinion. Where do I think mortgage rates are going to go? And I've been waiting. It's been about 10 days, like I said, and I've been reading up on or following the bond market and really looking at where things where things uh, are going. And since the announcement, the 10-year Treasury, which is, I think, so I've said this before, is the biggest driver of mortgage rates, really hasn't moved much. I mean, a little bit up, a little bit down, a little bit of volatility. I think since I last checked this morning, it was down, but not by much, right? The bond market, which is where mortgage rates are actually priced, it's not signaling major or immediate relief uh, anytime soon, right? Um, the market is telling us that expecting a dramatic short-term rate improvement, I don't think is realistic, right? But I think the biggest mistake is, as John Harder is, I think the biggest mistake is as agents, as real estate professionals right now, is to think that one person is going to make a decision. That's not going to happen, right? Anyone in that position. And I think Kevin Warsh is brilliant. He's a very, very smart man. He's been in government, he's been at the Fed for decades now. And I think regardless of political affiliation or economic philosophy, right? I don't think he's going to make decisions based on what the president is forcing him to do. I don't think that's going to happen. I think it's he's going to base his decision on inflation, on employment, right? What's going to happen with all these job losses? What's going to happen because of AI? So employment is going to play a big factor in the decision making for interest rates. I think economic growth. I think these tariffs are really going to play a major part in his decision making. Global markets, obviously, government spending, and I think ultimately it's about consumer behavior, right? It all plays a role, and I don't think any Fed chair, whether it's Powell or Warsh or whoever, and just wakes up and says, "This is where I want rates to go." I don't think that's what happens, and I don't think, especially someone as brilliant as Kevin Warsh, is going to make a decision based on pressure. Okay. But your job right now isn't to sit on the sidelines and wait to see what Kevin Warsh is going to do. I think your job right now is to bring clarity to your buyers. And that's kind of your job always, right? But especially when there's uncertainty. When there's uncertainty, I mean, don't allow, and I've said this over and over again before, don't allow a crisis to ever go to waste, right? And right now, there's a lot of uncertainty in the market. There's a lot of uncertainty with your buyers. There's a lot of uncertainty with your sellers. And many buyers are just sitting on the sidelines waiting for rates to drop because they believe that one appointment automatically means cheaper money, right? The appointment of Kevin Warsh means, the guy's wearing a cape. He's going to save real estate. And that's not what history has shown, right? And history has shown it's never that simple. And I don't think the president wants someone to come in and just lower rates. I think what the president wants is someone who's going to be smart and really figure out and think about all factors, right? What history has consistently showed us, when rates go down, demand increases, right? When demand increases, I think prices, as you know, rise, right? On average, and this is something that I've showed you over and over again, charts, historical figures, et cetera. On average, every 1% drop in rates historically has pushed homes and home prices up around 10%. So every 1% rates rate drop, 10% an increase in home prices. This is the conversation you and your buyers need to have. This is the conversation your buyers need to really understand, right? This is not about predicting rates, and I don't think you should make the mistake of predicting rates. It's about helping buyers understand strategy, right? And we go over strategy a lot here, John Hart, but especially when it comes to what the next steps are for these people that have been waiting on the sidelines for the last few years. We've got so much pumped up demand. You've gotta really understand what your responsibility is with the buyers that have just been waiting and not really doing much, right? I think buyers don't realize that they have so many options today. There are so many options. If rate improvement is what buyers are looking for, then that's what we'll give them, right? Sellers are still contributing toward rate buy downs, right? I was talking to the finance team at Golden Coast Finance just last week, and we're doing so many rate buy downs right now because buyers want to take control. They don't want to wait until some guy in Washington makes a decision based on the entire country, right? What the entire country needs. You need to make a decision on what you need, what your buyer needs, right? And so, Natalie, Caro, Silva, they all know how to get creative, right? So there's a ton of creating financing options. And if rates improve later, your buyer bought their home at a lower price and they can just refinance. Refinance, I think, is one of the best powerful and most powerful tools that is available to our clients, right? But what buyers often miss out on is that price is permanent, but rates you can adjust that over time, right? The price that you purchased the home for, that doesn't improve or go up and down based on the market after you purchase it. That's permanent, right? So if you're buying at a better price today, that is in your best interest. So what I want you to do is I want you to reach out to your buyers today. I don't want you to push them. I don't want you to scare them. What I want you to do is I want you to educate them. I want you to help them understand the full picture so they can make a decision based on their own situation. I don't think a decision should be made on headlines on and social media noise or what one person is thinking about as far as their livelihood is concerned. Be the professional that brings clarity when the market is so confusing right now. This is where trust is built. This is where I think relationships, I think, deepen, right? The better you educate, the better decisions that your buyers make, the more credit you will get for being the trusted professional. And I think ultimately that's where the transaction comes from, right? But you got to make the calls. You got to have the conversations. You got to answer the questions. You got to provide guidance. It's not about noise on social media, right? I don't want you guys to go and post a video about this. It's about having one-on-one conversations, direct conversations. This is where the highest value is right now, and I don't think a lot of you guys are having high value conversations, and you need to start having those. All right. John Harder, have a wonderful day. And if you guys have any questions specific to your buyer, uh, go ahead and give me a call. And or give the guys at Golden Coast Finance a call. Natalie, Gato, and Silva are very well equipped. We have conversations like this all the time. As a matter of fact, this morning we'll have another meeting to talk about the situation that we're in right now. So definitely take advantage of the guidance, of the real guidance these guys give you. Cheers.